Let us welcome, from physics, before lunch, Dr. Harris. Please welcome Dr. Harris.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know that you all are looking forward to lunch, but they save the best for last, so that's why I'm here right now to talk about the Department of Physics. Right? So, I know that many of you have a certain idea of what physics is about and what it's not about. So what I'm here to do is to let you know what exactly we offer within this department. Well, first of all, we are a department, yes, in the faculty. There's a lot to offer. We might be relatively small in some respects, but really and truly, when you hear some of what we have been up to, you'll wonder, how can we manage all this from this department? There is one thing that I should mention up front, is that physics is an academically challenging environment. I'm sure none of the other departments have mentioned that, right? And why would they say that? Because if you want to attract somebody, you wouldn't want to tell them they have to work for it, right? But you know, when you have to work for something really hard, it makes it all the more valuable, right? Right? You appreciate it more. Well, it's an academically challenging environment which is reserved for the brightest of the bright, right? And there's lots of scope for interaction with the lecturers and other persons in your in the field, both locally and regionally, and there's also some opportunities of international work as well, especially when you get into the graduate studies. It is fun, that is the truth. It's fun when you get to do the labs and the projects that they have to work on. Then there's really no other way to explain it. And one last thing, if you haven't done physics at Mona, then you haven't done physics at all, right? So just bear that in mind. Now moving on to the next slide, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 majors that we offer within the Department of Physics. The first one is general physics. Now general physics is more of a pure physics, a theoretical physics, which allows us to focus on some principles that you wouldn't really hear anywhere else when you talk about things like quantum mechanics and all those lovely stuff. And also there are some like semiconductor related courses, circuit analysis. There are courses that really lay the platform for you to do well in research. Now, all of our majors are designed to prepare you for research, but the general physics options in particular is good in that regard. If you're also interested in a physics with education option, then that is a good option that you can choose. The next major is electronics. On the electronics, you get to do telecommunications, robotics. Some of our students have done very well, have competed against international students in competitions. I mentioned one example on a later slide. And there are also electronics clubs. And the one popular recent developed major is electronics and computing option. It's a double major option that will allow you to get the best of both worlds. If you're not sure about electronics or computer science, or you think you can do well in both, well, there is a way for you to do that, to do both of them, and you still benefit from that. It also makes it more marketable when you're finished your degree here. There is material science, which looks at the physics of materials. You look at forensics, and these are things that prepare you for further research, and real research in applicable areas. So materials, for instance, you know what? Recently there was an issue with regard to the quality of construction blocks, road surfaces. What's the best combination of materials to use? You want something that's long-lasting. Well, looking at the labs here in our department allows us to do experiments, get good links with industry, persons that deal with whether it's places like the Bureau of Standards or other industries that actually focus on these specific areas, monitoring the quality. You get good exposure in that regard. The other 2 majors are energy and environmental physics and medical physics. The energy and environmental physics option focuses on areas like renewables, which we know is a very important area right now. It deals with climate studies, and it's closely linked with the climate studies research group, which I'll touch on again on a subsequent slide. Also, other areas that we look at are things like climate, physics of the climate, atmosphere, and so on. There's also astronomy and other related courses that are really exciting and allow you to get a grasp of things that are not usually covered in any other area. There's also medical physics, which I know many persons think about medicine as one option. I know that several of you will be considering starting in the faculty to do medicine. But medical physics gives you good exposure, gives you a good chance of, in fact, getting some of the background information that will be useful to you. Looking at things related to the instruments that are used in the medical area, whether it's like MRI or CT scan machines, or other areas such as that deal with exposure to radiation, whether ionizing or non-ionizing radiation. You touch on a lot of physics behind those areas, right? And that is something that is very, very important given the increasing development of new technology for use in the medical field. It is this is the option within our department that allows you to get that background. In terms of our research, well, I wasn't here. I don't know if any of you indicated your intention to do further research, but if you are thinking about it, and I would strongly recommend it if you want to stand out from your peers after you graduate from UE, then within our department, there are several areas of research that you can focus on, including climate change and variability. There's a newly acquired supercomputer that allows us to run models, climate change, looking at patterns over the past 10, 20, 30 years, and seeing what it's likely to be like in the next 10, 20, 30 years. We can use that information to help us to plan, for instance, we're going to allow certain areas to be developed for agricultural or residential purposes and so on. So all that comes under climate studies research. Also look at efficiency of renewables and other next generation technologies that are used in the energy field. Signal processing, that's on the electronics, looking at speech and image recognition. It has applications in anything from photography, satellite photography, undersea imaging, allowing you to process just about any type of image. And a lot of research goes on in this area. Material science, forensic fire analysis is one of the areas that you can cover under that. There's a fire research group as well. If you heard about the fire in London a few weeks ago, you would realize that if you were following up the post-fire news, you would have seen that they actually identified a specific brand of freezer that was the reason for that fire. They narrowed down to the floor and which apartment in that tower actually had that freezer, and they were able to do that using their forensics, which comes from fire research. And we have in our department a fire research lab which exposes you to this type of cutting edge technology. Other areas are materials, so road aggregates, glass, and then there's medical physics, which focuses, as I mentioned before, on radiation physics. There are areas related to cell phone studies, and optics also, the last one on the list here, looks at microscopy, high resolution microscopy. If you know about fiber optics that are used in the telecom industry, you know that fiber is really based on optics, right? Fiber optics, makes sense? Well, we do a lot of optics work as well in our department. All right, yes, next slide. In terms of facilities, we do have several labs that are being designed for you to allow you to maximize the time that you spend in the different areas, regardless of your research area. So wind turbines, weather stations, telescopes, virtual labs, all these are there, and there are also new that are in the pipeline, new ones in the pipeline. There was also dedicated space for other activities. You can join clubs. There are some persons who are actually part of the IEEE, which is an international body. There's a local student chapter, and some of our students are participating in a competition. I'll show you on the next slide. In terms of getting it, doing the actual courses, the core courses that you will do depends on what you're coming with. If you're coming with CSEC Physics, then you go into what you would have heard by now is a preliminary or prelim stage, and these are the core courses. If you come with CAPE Physics or CSEC Physics and CAPE Maths, then you will you'll be able to do the level 1 courses, and CAPE Math alone is also an option, but there are some specific maths courses that you will have to do in order for you to advance to level 3 physics. More details, you can get more details on these in the department. You can go to the physics office or on the website. There's also a Physics Honor Society, which is by invitation only. If you maintain a B average and have not failed any course, you get breakfast treats every semester. Twice a semester we get persons from industry to come in and speak to you, as well as other little tokens that we give you as a reward really for maintaining your B average or higher. And after 2 consecutive semesters, you get a chance to work in our summer, in our department for the summer, doing research, especially if you're interested in doing further research. This is something that might be appealing as you will get to interact with the lecturers and other postgrad students to find out what exactly they're working on. And this is all paid, of course. And we have a separate from that, there's another Physics in Practice internship course, which was just launched last year, where you are able to do a 3-credit, 6-week paid internship. That's you getting paid and you're not paying. It's actually free. So you can work for 6 weeks, get paid for it, get 3 credits for it, and all you need is to have at least a B grade in either of these courses, depending on which major you're doing, and you need approval from the head of department as well. So, and it's also subject to space, because we have partners external to the department, external to the university that we work with, and they provide options for students to work there. It's actually ongoing right now, and the students are really benefiting from it. Just 2 more slides. One is just a picture of the group that won 3rd place in the hardware competition at the IEEE conference last year. It was a robotics conference. These are electronics students, so if you're interested in robotics, electronics is definitely what you need to be focusing on. And they also got 6th from 22 universities in the software competition. And okay, this is another slide with an award that was won by some of our students. In addition to that, just this week it was announced that 3 of us postgrad students got Fulbright scholarships to the PhDs in the US. And in total in Jamaica, there were 6 scholarships awarded. 4 of them were from UWI. Of those 4, 3 of them were from the Department of Physics. So if you want to do well, you know that if you come to physics, you get a chance to get good, everywhere in the faculty gives you good quality education, but you stand out in a different way, right? Right? All right, so that is it. And oh, this is definitely the last slide. There's also a MSc Medical Physics, which will give you the chance to get jobs in areas such as radiotherapy, diagnostic imaging, nuclear medicine as well, and teaching, among others. But more information can be obtained from the physics office, or I don't know if I have time for questions. No? Oh, you have questions? Any questions?
Before
I know you want to go to lunch.
Guys, we have some important announcements. There's a question around the back. Stand up, boy.
The deadline for the application for the internship program. Okay, that is something that is you can apply during the year, but it is for level 3 students. Okay? So, you can work towards it. I need to get a B average, remember, in those courses. So, any more?
Any more questions? Of course, no more questions. Thank you so much, Dr. Harris, for that informative talk.